Welcome to the Crush It in Sales podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. This podcast focuses on the intersection of sales, leadership, and personal development. Now let's get ready to dig in and crush it. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing the best that they can out there. I know it's a little crazy, but I still wanted to do my podcast, and I wanted to talk about something that just continues to always amaze me. And it is leadership in companies that don't listen to their team. And there is a huge difference between hearing and listening. So I'll tell you, hearing in simple form is the sound perceived between your ears. But when you listen, you are focusing, you are paying attention, you are remembering, you are processing, you're making changes, or you're taking action as a result. And it just constantly shocks me how many companies don't listen to their team. I was recently made aware of a company that put a last minute call on the calendar, and they had their own agenda they must have thought of behind closed doors, and it doesn't make any sense. And what happens then is you have some team members that speak up, that have the courage to speak up, and I commend them. And then you have some team members that aren't going to, because in their hearts, they probably know that, you know what, this leadership team is not going to listen and nothing's going to change. So why should I bother? And I kind of commend them too, because I get it. And they might be afraid to lose their jobs, rock the boat, piss off management, whatever. And if they know nothing's going to change, again, why bother? And this is a common occurrence happening out there, not only in corporate America, but in small business too. I see it all the time, and I hear about it all the time. I also was just made aware of an email that was sent out, and same thing, just full of rhetoric jargon. I sometimes feel like companies are acting like politicians, where nothing's really making change or getting done or listening. They're just spewing off their own thoughts of things they thought of behind closed doors. Oh, this is what we'll have them do. And then nothing really makes sense. And then they wonder why their business isn't great. And they wonder why their team is really unhappy. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't wonder at all. Maybe they have no clue. Or maybe they're so arrogant that they don't even care. It's really interesting. I was listening to a business podcast, and I wish I could remember the name. I honestly didn't have time to dig and try to find out, but the gentleman on the podcast is an author, and he wrote a book, and I don't think it's mentioned in the book, but in the podcast, he did say that, I think it was Bill Gates, someone really big, and I'll have to do some digging once I get a moment. But the thought process is basically that arrogance is what will end up killing your company. So the more arrogant you are and the more you're not listening to your team, the more your business is going to decline. It just will. If your team's not on board, if their ideas aren't being listened to, if they feel disempowered, or if they feel the management isn't transparent or isn't authentic, which is so many cases out there as well, then eventually their business is going to decline. In so many instances, I can even personally backtrack and go, you know what, that was brought up like 5 years ago. Totally saw the writing on the wall for that one, and the company did nothing to pivot or change or improve or solve the situation, and now they're feeling the results of that. Now they're feeling what I called out was going to happen, or even other team members in various companies have called out to what was going to happen. So listen to your team, ask questions. Don't just have calls where people are just spewing off, this is what you need to do, and you need to be doing it, because that doesn't work. Maybe that worked in the 80s and 90s when I was starting my corporate career, but nowadays it doesn't. I'm a Gen Xer, and the generation younger than me, they're smart. And they kind of figured out when I was in corporate America that long hours and just being told what to do versus collaborating really isn't the way to lead a team. And now I definitely feel that the other generations are catching up to that and have caught up to that, actually. And now the leadership needs to change as well. And the more and more people are aware of that, the better your team and your business will be. So listen to your team. Ask questions. Have brainstorming sessions. It's only going to help your business. It's only going to help retention and your team to feel like they're just part of the company and that you all care and you're in this together. So that's all I've got for today, just short and sweet. This was on my heart. As I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I'm going to be speaking more and more about communication because this is what I see out there. This is what I hear. This is what I've learned and seen in over 25 years of corporate and sales experience. And this is what needs to be said. So I hope it resonates with you, whether you are a leadership and can see this within your company and look to change, or maybe you are in sales yourself or in a similar situation and are hoping that your company changes and are trying to work through some things. Please feel free to follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Those are the two platforms I hang out on the most. And my email is melinda@melindavanfleet.com. Till next time, I hope you crush it in sales. Thanks for listening.